Micromax in Note 2, is the Indian brand finally catching up with Chinese competition? The Micromax in Note 2 represents the second generation of Micromax smartphones after the comeback last year. Micromax in Note 2 succeeds the in Note 1 that was launched last year. Micromax made a grand re-entry in the Indian smartphone market with that device. The manufacturer has now introduced the second version of the same device. Does Micromax build on the promise of providing better value for money with the new smartphone? Let's find out. Design. Compared to last year's design, the new in Note 2 seems to have evolved in terms of overall appearance. The in Note 2 opts for a glass-on-glass look. The smartphone also gets Gorilla Glass protection, but the company hasn't really specified the version. In terms of in-hand feel, the Micromax in Note 2 has better weight distribution and this creates a more confident feel. The plastic on the camera island does not protrude a lot, but the plastic used seems to be a step down from the rest of the build quality. The phone gets flat sides, giving a more confident hold. The added phone cover in the retail unit also accentuates the sharper edges. It also becomes a must-use as the back of the device is extremely reflective and attracts fingerprints. Display. The display is where most users will derive value out of the Micromax in Note 2. The smartphone comes with an AMOLED display. In this price range, the panel is not easy to come by. However, Samsung is dominant even in this category. The panel increases the contrast and colors to much higher levels compared to the previous generation. This gives a much elevated experience, even to an entry-level smartphone user. While AMOLED is a definite upgrade, Micromax did not opt for a fast refresh rate display, which is a bummer. More phones with at least a 90 Hz refresh rate are breaching the budget phone category. The deep blacks do enhance the daily interaction with the screen. But don't expect a flagship-like AMOLED panel. The saturation on Micromax in Note 2 display is blown up by default. There are different modes that can help bring it down to more appealing levels. Performance. Micromax in Note 2 comes with MediaTek Helio G95, which was launched in the year 2020. It is a definite step up from the previous generation Helio G85. However, the company is only offering a 4GB RAM, 64GB internal storage variant of the Micromax Note in 2. In our usage, the phone was easily keeping up with day-to-day tasks and even short sessions of gaming. However, we can't be sure of the long-term impact of the specs. The device gets a dedicated memory card slot that can carry a memory card of up to 256GB. The internal storage of the phone is UFS 2.1, which should ensure an overall smooth experience. Note, the Micromax in Note 2 did keep dropping Wi-Fi signals occasionally. A software update should be able to fix this. Camera. The camera is nothing to write home about. In the daylight, the images are brighter than the actual landscape, and the color saturation is also turned all the way up. Overall, the daylight images looked sharp but lacked accurate composition. The macro shots in bright daylight turned out fine, but the low-light shots were simply unusable. The primary camera, which is a 48MP, doesn't really do justice to the size of the sensor. Low-light images lack details, and there is some artificial HDR-like effect that is being used to brighten up the darker areas. Battery. The battery is one of the strong suits of the Micromax in Note 2. The phone comes with a 5000 mAh battery unit. The 30 watts fast charger in the box definitely helps. The company claims it can charge up to 50% in just 25 minutes. The Micromax in Note 2 gets a USB Type-C charging port. The phone also gets a 3.5mm headphone jack. Verdict: the Micromax in Note 2 represents the second generation of Micromax smartphones after the comeback last year. The company has addressed some of the pain points that led to Chinese domination of the Indian smartphone market. The Android 11 UI is completely stock. The processor may not be the latest and greatest, but it does its job well. However, there is a long road ahead for the brand in terms of camera performance. The display is not the best, but it won't disappoint for sure. Chinese smartphone makers have developed a strong presence in this category. Micromax may need to counter them with a more pocket-friendly offering. The Micromax in Note 2 has been priced at 12,490 rupees as an introductory offer. It will be available to buyers from 30th January on Flipkart and the company's official website.